Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have some pretty big news when it comes to the PlayStation 6, where it seems like the PlayStation 6 is now already allegedly in the works, as in they're being made, they're being produced. And as well, there's something in the very starting segments of it. And as well, we're also now finding news that the upcoming PlayStation 6 games are also now officially starting to get into development. So a lot of fun things to go talk about if you guys care about the future of video games and consoles as a whole. And of course, we do cover a lot of gaming news here, so please subscribe if you guys are new, pop on the notifications or leave a like, and of course, your thoughts down below, such as, are you guys going to buy a PlayStation 6? Let me know down below. So we have some big news over here. First and foremost, is that we're now been seeing the news that PlayStation is finally hiring more people in regards to the PlayStation 6. Because PlayStation over here from Zuby saying PlayStation hiring for PlayStation 6 chip validation. As you guys know, right now software and basically just the CPU, GPU, APU is probably the most important part for consoles development, and of course with these really big semiconductor issues we had during the PS6 and Xbox Series X launch, those are very important. So work with cutting-edge CPU, GPU architectures using PlayStation LSI's technology that few companies in Japan or worldwide would have access to, such as also the AMD-specific chip that's being customly made for the PlayStation 6. We developed the custom LSIs that power PlayStation 5, PlayStation VR 2, and other core Sony Interactive products. The team is made up of experts in LSI architecture, design verification, hardware design, and software development. Development is driven by open discussions and collaboration across specialties. PlayStation consoles integrate custom SoCs and multiple dedicated processors, requiring advanced hardware control and power management to work together seamlessly. This makes low-level software development at PlayStation both a technically challenging and exciting field. Basically, this is their listing saying, hey, we need to go and hire more people to go make sure that you're working and integrating our chips into the upcoming PlayStation 6. So, you know, here from Zuby themselves would probably agree, saying, hey, yo, it looks like their APU is now getting prepared for mass production. The APU, if you guys don't know, is like the big brain of basically the console. We know that AMD is working specifically to go make their dual chip custom for PlayStation 6 and also the PlayStation handhelds, I believe. And on top of that, they're using their software integration to work with the AI with such as the PSSR, also great. And at this point, we also have to make sure all the other chips are proper. The APU to go and cut down performance costs and as well make sure everything's running efficiently, GPU to run better, etc. We don't know the exact specifics yet on the PlayStation 6, although some of our other videos and leaks, if you guys like these leaks, please subscribe, have kind of come to the idea that it's going to be way better on ray tracing, probably way more video RAM, way better CPU, marginally better GPU, way better APU, and as well, a lot of the initial leaks is that the console itself is going to be a lot smaller, which also is kind of maybe putting it more towards like Series S size, where they just want to optimize everything and not make it as much as of a quote-unquote eyesore. Like, I like how the PS5 looks, but it is a little tall, wonky, and big. So if they can tone down everything, make it smaller, it's nice. But as we mentioned, they are now having official job listings to make sure these things are working. And typically we're expecting maybe a 2027 release date. That's like the rumors. Maybe holiday, this is all up in the air. And we are getting more close to the holiday season here. So if you think about it this way, you probably want to start mass producing things like the APUs and these very custom made semiconductors. That's a big deal. Like, you want to make sure those are all, going to roll. You probably then want to finalize the GPUs, which is what they've been doing with AMD, and also finalizing where the AI is going to go. I think AI is going to be one of the bigger bottlenecks for all this stuff because you can mass produce anything. Like, if you have enough money, the fabricators to go make it, you work with AMD facilities, TSMC, whatever it might be, you can make millions of chips, no problem. But the issue is the AI, because as you guys probably know right now, AI is evolving very quickly, very heavily everywhere. Like, I'm sure whatever AI we have right now is going to be considered obsolete and garbage, even in the gaming sphere. Although right now Xbox has been doing AI on their own separate ends, they're not really doing too much on AI gaming. They have tested along, but they're more so doing AI for like, things like video production, customer support, maybe even more so on the hosting end with Azure. So they're using more of their data centers for that. Doesn't mean that Microsoft is not heavily investing into AI already. We already know that they've been trying to go build up data centers more so for AI. So we're not really sure how the PlayStation PSR is going to be, because that's more so, I think, almost like machine learning on our end. Like, we are using our consoles to submit the data to them, versus, say, a big major data center hosting their own like technology. Either way, if you need to have an APU, once the APU, that's going to be probably consistent. The CPU probably be very consistent, and then those could probably be pretty much made earlier on. And then as well, the GPU most likely can be consistent, but it depends on what type of AMD technology they're going to use. You know they're going to be using that for their AI with PSSR and their own combination with it. So I guess in theory it'd be fine because then it can be optimized for that GPU, it'd be okay. But still, either way, I think it's some good news. Like, it looks like the PS6 is actually, at least based on speculations and based on mine, if anything, blame Zoom on this one, but it does seem like the APU is now starting to get made, and that also means that, in theoretically, maybe slight clickbait, the PS6 is now starting to get made itself, which is really cool. Now, are we going to have this on market anytime soon? Probably not, and that's why I explained all that. The APU, you can survive on that longer. Same with CPUs and probably GPUs, but the AI is going to probably be the hardest, and then everything else too. As technology gets better, it'll be a little bit more cheaper. But yeah, they are basically just wanting to go and acquire all these end-all development lifecycle things. They want to basically also have design. So bear in mind, they're talking about how they have these chips that are custom for PS6 or PS5, PlayStation VR2, and other core products, PS6. And as well, they also want to have you work on design, evolution, and mass production. That's their specifics that they're asking for too as well, and also to verify whether prototype chips meet required functions and expected performance levels. So they are working on hiring people out here to get these PS6 validation, and that means that we're now pretty much in the starting phases to make sure the PlayStation 6 console is in motion. Now as well, we've also had some other stuff too, and this is in regards to the PS6 games. Now, if you guys are curious, I believe Ghost of Yotai is the pure start to finish PlayStation 5 title. Other games were worked on during the PS4 end of life cycle. I think Ghost of Yotai is the very first pure when PS5 started to PS5 is now out now 5 years later, which would make sense in a 5-year game development cycle. Now, Gran Turismo is apparently now going to be the very first PlayStation 6 game, where we now have the hiring staff, once again, leaks for production of Gran Turismo. We have continued to produce the Gran Turismo series for over 25 years now. The biggest reason we were able to continue this for so long is the existence of our player base and all around good stuff. But we still think there is much more to be done to provide the best experience to our players. For those of you who have that unneeding urge to create a future through art and technology, we await your passion, skills, and other ones as they're hiring for that. So, we're proud to brought the ideas of the future into reality. They're saying it's a software production company, Sony subsidiary. We plan, produce, and operate services such as Gran Turismo, which has shipped over 90 million copies worldwide. So what this kind of means too as well, this means that we're finally getting our next generation Gran Turismo. If you guys are excited for that, let me know. I'm excited for it myself personally. I'm down. But it also means that we're able to go put more effort into making these pure PS6 games. If you're making a brand new game now, and I'm sure there's like ideas, development plans for Gran Turismo, it's a big series, you're going to be making it on the PS6. And I'm sure right now there's probably even some games out there that are at least starting the PlayStation 6 pipeline. I'm not sure exactly which ones, maybe even games like Wolverine. We'll find out throughout this week, throughout these Sony State plays. Maybe some other low-key, maybe Last of Us Part 3. You never know. Once we start having the PS6 start being made, we can start having these developers that are like, yeah, we're probably not going to have a game made in the next 2 years, but we can do the storyboarding, get the voice acting actors, start developing stuff. And once they have the early PlayStation 6 like dev kits, they have the rough idea of what we're working with, or they have like the rough idea of the PlayStation engines, that just means that we could probably go and start having some new games coming out and being worked on. So it looks like both the PS6 is starting production. Very, very first stage of this. This is like not even any time close. But it also seems that PlayStation 6 games are now finally also making production, which I think is actually very neat. I'll be very curious to see on how much of a graphical boost 3 years from now plus AI is going to do. Hopefully more than we expect. We'll see. We'll really see, but I'm excited to see the future of all these games in the future, and I would love to hear your thoughts on all the stuff down below. So please subscribe if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you guys are just new, and you guys are all fantastic, and I'll talk to you guys all soon, and give me your thoughts down below.